If you have a child that is a really reluctant reader, this video is for you. Hi everyone, I'm Michelle from A Common Life, and I'm the homeschooling mom of 5 children ages 3 through 11. Now my children have been very different readers. My oldest son, he went to a cottage school for preschool, and they basically taught him how to read when he was about 5 years old. And it took him until he was about 7.5 or so to really, get a good grasp on reading. And that was the point at which he started reading the Magic Treehouse books in like half hour to 45 minutes each, and he would just, go through the whole series at once. And so when my daughter came along, she just taught herself how to read. She was 4.5 years old, and she just taught herself how to read. I honestly don't know how she did it. She did not go to preschool. She was just home with me, and she just kind of, figured it out from hearing me read out loud to her. And so by the time she was like 5.5 or 6, she was very fluently reading. And now she's reading, 300, 400 page chapter books in a week or less, and she just really enjoys reading. Then came my 7-year-old son. He is just the most reluctant reader that I have encountered. He had no interest whatsoever in learning how to read. It just wasn't something that he wanted to do, and he would get really anxious and really stressed out about it. And then if you did put something in front of him, he would just guess every single thing. He wouldn't even try. And so I kind of delayed teaching him how to read. We went through kindergarten. He was, really good at math, way ahead of the game. He could identify all of his letters. He could, tell you the sounds that they made. He could identify colors and, all those other things that kindergartners need to do. But I waited until he was in 1st grade to finally actually formally teach him how to read. And so we used How to Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. And he and I actually made a video about that together. So I will have that link to up above for you. And that book has been wonderful for him. However, he is still a very reluctant reader. He will go through the book, and the way that the lessons work is there is some sounding out basically on the first 2 pages, and then there will be a reading paragraph or whatever on the next page. And so he will be able to perfectly sound out everything, and then you give him the paragraph, and he completely stresses out about it and struggles and guesses and just really doesn't do well. Now, thankfully, that has improved over time, and the way that I have helped that improve is by making reading fun. Now, I know that sounds like something that's, so simple and just a piece of cake, but for some kids, it's really not. For some kids, they hate reading, and it's not fun at all, and it's really burdensome and stressful, and they hate it. And so for him and all of his siblings, we started doing reading charts, where they would get a sticker for every time they read a book or a chapter, and that would really motivate them. And in the end, they would get some kind of prize, like an ice cream or a toy or something like that. And so that was really motivating for him. Something else that really helped was just to get books that he enjoys. So I got him a set of readers that are all Star Wars, and he loves reading those Star Wars readers. I also got him some joke books, so that was fun for him to do those and sound them out and then share them with people. I had a bunch of readers that were easy. Simple readers that he could read like that, and he felt so good about himself. So that's another thing you can do. Rather than giving them things that are harder, give them things that are easier and build up their self-confidence. And so that's something I would highly recommend to you guys. Rather than making reading so difficult, make it easier and then just slowly over time increase. And you can get a lot of books out there. There's a Scholastic set that we have that starts out really, really simple and slowly progresses to more and more difficult. Same thing with the Bob books, which we also really enjoy. And so there are a lot of series that you can get, and they basically do the work for you. You start at the beginning and just read your way through. And as the children progress, they feel more and more confident. And by the end, they're reading a book. Yesterday, he read a 15-page book to me. And so that was really exciting. He had never done that before. Another really great thing that you can do is just go to your library and figure out what your child enjoys. Let them go. Maybe if you can, just go the 2 of you. Let them go to the library and pick out the things that they enjoy and start out with simple books that you can kind of read together or they can read on their own, and then slowly find other books in the same category that are more difficult. And then slowly introduce those into their library or into your library at home. And that is really one way to kind of progress them through reading, even if they don't really realize that it's happening. They just think, oh, I'm reading about sharks. And so you start with like maybe a board book about sharks and look at the board book together, and then move to a reader, and then slowly move your way up and up and up. And maybe there's like a chapter book that's about sharks, or just a mystery book or something and there's sharks in it. Something like that would spark their interest. And so they're slowly going from reading very simple things to reading things that are much more difficult. My last tip for you is just to keep books out in your house all the time. Keep them out, that way they're always accessible to your children. I have 2 big baskets of readers on the lower shelf on our bookshelves in our living room, and that way our younger boys can just reach those and they can read them anytime they want. So they're not, out of the way or up on a shelf or organized in my homeschool room or something like that. I just keep them out in baskets and then they can just get to them whenever they want. I say all of this to give you guys hope that even if you do have a reluctant reader, there are ways to get your child to read. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching and have a great day.